Welcome everyone to Virtualization. Only a couple announcements. Actually, just really the one. Converge B-Sides Detroit. Yes, it's less than 30 days.
What is it, Kyle?
It's a wonderful security conference in Detroit. Hosting at Kobo. It'll be May 10th, 11th, and 12th. The 12th being B-Sides, and the 10th and 11th is Converge. Definitely come out. If you're students, you get like a 50% discount on tickets. You just got to email the info@convergeconference.org. And I think I have tickets I have to give to people, which I forgot and just remembered right now.
Like me.
Yay! Otherwise, yeah, I think that's all. Anyone else have other announcements or things that are interesting?
No pressure.
Anybody?
On the spot.
Then I turn it over to our speaker for the day.
Who am I?
Day night?
Who am I?
Michael?
Me?
Just go ahead and introduce himself now. Is that
Oh,
what's happening?
okay. I guess I introduced myself then.
Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yay.
That's fine.
So, hi there. So my presentation is saving all the money to buy all the booze, learning to hack all the things on a budget. If you haven't guessed from the title, there's going to be quite a few memes. So maybe some. I don't know. I may have left a few out by mistake. So just a quick disclaimer and warning. I'm not endorsed nor sponsored by any of the companies, individuals, or memes in this presentation. There are lots of links. Sorry, not sorry. I wanted to save you guys just a little bit of Google foo. So at the end, if you want my slides, just let me know. So I wanted to provide a starting point for those starting out. All this talks that I've been to at conferences and most of my sec have been more high-end, more technical. So I wanted to give those just starting out basically what I wanted to hear 3 years ago starting out in cybersecurity. So thanks, Daniel. Bye. But basically 3 years ago I wanted to hear all of this stuff and figure out where to start. Now 3 years later I'm just figuring all of this out. So I'm going to save everybody some time. Yay! And there might be some new stuff that veterans will find too. Maybe not tonight, maybe when it comes up next month. So all the tools discussed here are low cost and are legit free. There is no piracy within this presentation at all, and I'll go into that a little bit later. And the main purpose of this is to save everybody some money and learn some new things. So if you're looking for either of these individuals, I'm sorry, I'm clearly not either of them. And I'm also not that guy anymore. I chopped my hair off to donate, so sorry, but not sorry. I'm Michael Morgese, also known as Gondrith. I'm a student of cyber defense at Baker College. This is my second attempt at a degree. I stopped going to school long ago to go to work, and that was a terrible idea. But here I am now, second chance, and got my associate working on my bachelor. So I've been working for Baker College IT for 2 years. I've been doing official IT work for 4. I've technically been doing IT work for about 10 to 15 years. I can't ever get the years right, so let's just go with that. I've been a father for 2 years now and a husband for 10, so I guess I got that going for me. So can we just get on with all the things? Yes, all the things. So first off, you gotta have a computer to really do anything. So what kind of computer should you use? My personal recommendation is to get an Intel i5 or i7 or equivalent AMD. I'm assuming it's an FX or Ryzen series. Basically you want something with 8 cores, roughly, whether it's hyper-threaded or physical cores. You're going to want about 8 gigs of RAM or more. If you're running low on RAM, you can go to downloadmoreram.com. You'll get plenty of free RAM there. And you'll also need lots of hard drive space. The purpose of the hard drive space is so that you can have multiple VMs. There's a couple ways you can do that. Externals are super cheap right now. You can get a 1 terabyte external hard drive for about $50, which is pretty nice. Only issue is when you're using VMs on them, tends to be a little bit slow. So you can change that by upgrading your internal hard drive which is also a little bit less expensive than SSDs, and you'll get some better reads, but still they're starting to get up in price. And then the SSDs, really good reads, but they're really expensive. I think a 1 terabyte SSD right now is about $300. That was a good chunk of change that I dropped into a laptop, and I don't really regret it. But if you're just starting out, you may want to save some money and not go that route. A 200 gig SSD is still about $100, so you can't store a whole lot, but your VMs will run pretty smooth. So the other thing to take note is that your laptop or computer actually has the ability to virtualize. You can do that by going into BIOS and making sure that virtualization is turned on. I don't know how many hours of beating my head against a wall to find out that I forgot to turn virtualization on, that my VMware wasn't working. So you can get some stuff at eBay, obviously. It's very cheap, but make sure that you read the descriptions very closely. Sometimes they'll say that they're selling a particular part and show you this wonderful picture of a laptop, and they're just selling the internal part and not the laptop itself. If it's $20 for a laptop, it's probably too good to be true. So read the descriptions very closely. You can also use it to find that obscure part if you're happening to be missing it. For example, if you find an old laptop somewhere and it didn't have a power supply, check eBay. You'll probably get a really low cost one. It's probably going to be used, but it should work. There's a lot of good college surplus places around. They sell used equipment and they're local, and sometimes they sell their stuff at prices that don't sound right. For example, a almost brand new laptop being $75 versus a really old laptop being $300. So check it out. Maybe you'll find a good deal. If you want new equipment, it's going to be a lot more expensive to go to Amazon or Newegg, but they are good places to go. If you're building a brand new computer, I highly recommend going to PC Part Picker. It will show you the compatibility of all of your parts ahead of time. That way you don't try to jam an AMD chip into an 1151 socket. That's not a fun time. Not speaking from experience or anything, but lots of broken pins, and that's a lot of money you don't want to lose. So onto the virtualization. So here's the first wall of links. I apologize, but a couple different options. You've got VMware. It's kind of costly. It's about $150 a license, but if you're a student, check with your college and see if they give you a free license and use that one. Really awesome. There's VirtualBox, which is 100% free. It's run by Oracle, and I've had a little bit of luck with it, not so much as VMware. Just gotten really used to VMware stuff. There's also KVM, which is kernel-based virtual machine. It's on Linux, and it's 100% free as well. There's also QEMU, which has a full system, a user mode, and a KVM virtualization. And it's open source, so you can add to the project if you want. A lot of the new Windows 10 builds are starting to come with Hyper-V baked in. So Windows 10 Pro, Enterprise, and Education all have it included in the package, so check that out. And then Vagrant needs a hypervisor. We had a really good talk last month from Mike Jackson if you want to learn a little bit more about how Vagrant works. Basically, you tell it what you want to do, and then it builds the VM, adds a whole bunch of extra commands like updates and different software packages that you want to load in, and then it spins up the VM all in one shot instead of sitting there and kind of manually doing everything and then taking a snapshot and then hoping that you save that snapshot. This way you can make multiple VMs over several times very consistently. It's a really neat tool. And then if you're looking for something that gives you a little bit more high availability, check out DigitalOcean. They have a lot of low-cost droplets. The lowest one I think is about $5 a month, and I use that for spinning up a VPN before buying a VPN service, and $5 a month kept me in the clear for a little bit, and then I learned a lot about Linux that way as well. You can check out their write-ups there as well. They have very good write-ups, so give them a look-see. So you've got your hypervisor. Now what do? Well, you can get a whole bunch of ISOs from all these places. You can get Kali Linux, Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, Debian, and Arch. They're all good ISOs to have for starting out. If you're used to Windows, you can go with Ubuntu or Debian. If you're looking for something more server related, CentOS and Fedora are more up your alley. If you're really wanting to dig deep and customize everything, Arch is a good way to go. And then what a lot of people don't realize is that Windows actually has 90-day VMs available for testing. Make sure that you take your snapshots right as soon as you start them up. It does say on the page as well, make sure you snapshot your stuff. Make sure you read the instructions and licenses in the link as well, and it can be found right there on that wall of text. Woo. So some good free tools to check out. Wireshark, it's a network protocol analyzer. I've known quite a few people that have just picked up Wireshark and learned it from start to finish and have been able to successfully get jobs because of it. One of them happens to be in this room. So not a whole lot of people know how to use Wireshark properly, and it really makes you stand out. Highly recommend getting PuTTY. It lets you SSH, and yeah, definitely don't telnet into things, please no. If you're telnetting into something, that's very bad. But you can SSH into it. PowerShell, which is one of Kyle's favorite tools, which he can't get working. Oh, no, is it John's? Is he sure?
Yes.
Okay. Well, your laptop can't run it anyways with your macro keys. I'm sorry. So sorry. But it's a very powerful configuration management framework. It's like command prompt, but not. So don't go in there and ping something. It's a very bad idea. Very, very terrible idea. As Kyle does that. Also, there's Notepad++. It's a code and text editor. I really like Notepad++ because it shows a lot of things in color and makes things stand out a little bit easier. Starting out, I used just a text editor like Notepad, and I was missing a lot of glaring errors. Notepad++ kind of brought them to my attention, and I was able to see them a little bit easier. So give that a look. More free stuff, because we like free stuff here. If you don't have any money to purchase Microsoft Office, there's some free options for you. There's OpenOffice, LibreOffice, and then Google also offers their own through Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. So the only thing with the Google stuff is you do need a Google account, and you can access it in the top right corner of Google, in case you didn't know. So now that you have your free tools, what can you really do with some of those? You can go to Metasploitable from Rapid7, and they have a really cool write-up and instruction manual and things like that on how to break into their already vulnerable VM. It has tons of ports open. Basically spin up the VM, spin up another VM as well, and kind of attack it and break into it and figure out what you can do. There's also the OWASP Juice Shop, which I didn't know about until preparing for this talk. It's a web store, kind of similar to Metasploitable, where you basically have an entire online web store right at your fingertips that you can break into legally, sort of. So learn how to break into them, see what tools the bad guys are using, and learn how to defend against it. And then the best part is since it's a VM, you can take a snapshot at the beginning, break it, fix it, break it again, fix it. Great way to learn. Some other cool places to check out are BWAP, which is a online can't remember now. It's really cool though.
What makes it so cool?
Why don't you go there and check it out? There you go. There's also Google Gruyere, which is kind of a cheesy name, but similar to BWAP, you can break into it and do some web-based or website-based attacks. Try to do that. And then there's also Over the Wire, which has a war games style CTF kind of thing. So go there, check it out. They kind of have a write-up on which direction you want to go in what order. You can bounce around if you want, but you'll probably get lost. So, like me.
Would you like to know what BWAP is?
Yes, Daniel. Why don't you come up here and talk about BWAP?
Sure. Hi. I don't know anything about BWAP. I just Googled it. I went to the website that you told me to go to. I learned something.
What did you learn?
I learned that it is the buggy web application. It is a purposely vulnerable web application that you can use for screwing around with. It reminds me of the damn vulnerable web app, right? Which is a thing. The damn vulnerable stuff, who makes that?
Rapid7 maybe?
Sure, let's go with that. I can't remember. So they're VMs that you can download and attack and practice your XSS and your command injection with and stuff like that. So you don't have to practice on real websites like yours.
Exactly.
It's
Mine's
garbage.
terrible.
That's all I got.
It's like this talk.
I Googled. I did it. Look at
Yay!
it.
Is that access from the UP?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright. So, if you like to learn from books, though, instead of Google, you can go to Pact. Pact offers you a free book a day. I've been doing that for past 4 months or so. My library is about 300 books now. Normally when people offer free books, they're really cruddy books and they're old and they're from the 90s and they're not useful anymore. Well, these are actual books that they sell on a daily basis, and they're about $40 to $50 and they're absolutely free. So check them out. You do have to have an account with them to get that, but check back every day. And they also offer low-cost ebooks, which are about $10 a pop. You buy a bundle of them, you get reduced cost. I think 3 books is $25, so save $5 right there. Yay! They also have a subscription called Mapped, which gives you access to their entire library 100% with, well, not 100% free because you have to pay for it. It's a monthly subscription and you can access it as many times as you want. I checked it out and I was able to view all kinds of books that I want to buy before my trial version went up, and then I was still able to access them. Anything that I had viewed prior to was no longer accessible, so tried. There's also Humble Bundle. This one's a little bit harder to kind of nail down because they randomly choose what they offer each month. I think the largest bundle that I've seen book-wise is $25. Most of them are usually about $15 or so. You're able to split it up into charitable goods, so if you really don't like that publisher and you don't want to give them any money, you can give it all to charity instead. Or you can give a lot more to Humble Bundle to keep them up and going, or you can just give it all to the publisher anyways. So you have choices. You can also go to Amazon, which offers free books. This one's a little bit more difficult because every time that somebody talks about it, the path changes. So chances are, after I give this talk, they're probably going to change how to get to it anyways. So once you find this particular process, bookmark it so that you can get there a lot faster instead of going through the million clicks, which I will show you right here. So the current pathway, you have to go to Departments in the top left corner, hover over it, go to Kindle e-readers and ebooks, click on Kindle Books, pick a category, link to bestsellers just below the category name, and then top 100 free. If that sounds like a lot, it is. That's why I bookmark it. This is what the drop down for the departments looks like, and then you go to Kindle ebooks right there with the little laser pointer that can't really be seen. And then you come down over here to Kindle books, click that. And then on the left-hand side, woo, can't see anything, that's okay. Click on a category like computers and technology, and then go over to the bestsellers, and then click on top 100 free. This laser pointer is trash. I'm so glad I paid so much money for it. Should have saved money. All right, so you can also go online and learn some videos instead of books if that's your thing. Cybrary is a really great place to go for that. They have most of their videos are geared towards certifications, so you can do a search for your A+, your Security+, your Net+. They have some Cisco ones on there as well, so check them out. If you want to learn some programming languages, Codecademy is pretty good. They offer quite a few different laser pointers. They have other programming languages there that you can check out. They will give you hands-on lessons to kind of do different things, and then they give you a sandbox at the end to play around with a little bit. Khan Academy is another great place to learn. Doesn't have just computer-related stuff. They actually have very few computer-related things, but they have physics and math and things like that. So if you're having trouble in your math classes or something, or having trouble showing somebody how to do math, that's a great place to go. And then W3 Schools has a lot of website and server-based write-ups. I use this primarily for my SQL class, and it saved my life quite a few times. So check them out as well. If you like to talk to people, you can go to Slack instead of IRC, because IRC is... What? No?
Better?
IRC?
That's correct.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Right now, Slack does have an IRC login for like the next month or so, maybe. No, probably not. But it's team-based, it's project management oriented.
Notice that there's a link missing up there for the MySec.
There is a link missing for the MySec Slack. Shouldn't it be like mysec.slack.com or something?
Yeah. Go to mysec.us and press the link in the corner to get invited.
See, I'm not endorsed by any of the people here though.
You're endorsed by MySec.
You just got endorsed.
Okay, so maybe I have to change the sliders here. Okay. You can also go to Discord if you like to have conversations over voice. Most of their stuff, or all of their stuff, is hosted on their servers, so just be a little bit mindful of that, because their data, your data is held on their servers. So with people being more mindful of where their data's at, thanks to certain companies selling stuff and things. But yeah, there's also Keybase. It's encrypted chat and file sharing. You do have to have a social media account to start out. That way they can kind of verify who you are. And if you lose your account, like I did twice, you're able to recover it rather easily. So that can be found at keybase.io. So now that we've learned, can we play? Well, sure, why not? I just love this GIF. Sit here and watch it for a second. Bees.
Have you looked at any courses on Udemy?
On what?
Udemy, U-D-E-M-Y.
I have not. I will check that out though. So that was U-D-E-M-Y?
Correct.
Is that .com, .org? .com. Okay.
$10 courses on Wireshark, on Metasploitable, on anything cyber related, network related, computer related. They have a lot of sales go on.
Okay.
Yeah. Every month I get like 10 more courses. I'm up to like 150 courses. I haven't even started any of them yet.
Is it $10 per course or $10 for a subscription?
$10 per course. Some of them are free.
Okay. I will have to check that out and probably work that into the slides for the next round. So, thank you. So, there are some Vidja games out there. You can go to GOG, which is Good Old Games. They have old games, they have new games. They're very low cost. I used to play a lot of Might and Magic, and I was very sad when I couldn't load my disc of Might and Magic onto my brand new gaming rig. It said that it couldn't find a processor fast enough or an internet connection to actually connect because I didn't have a modem built into my computer anymore. So they will actually get around a lot of that. They will go in and redo the installers so that they work on newer computers. And then there's Humble Bundle again. They do offer video games there as well as other books, comic books. There are also Android apps. Wild Kate appears. They do have monthly subscriptions as well. For about $12, you can get up to $150 worth of games. I think it's the lowest I've seen, but most of them are closer to the $200 mark. And they're not just indie games. There's a lot of newer games in there. Last month was God Eater 2 and some others, so check them out. There's also Steam. There's a lot of really good free games on Steam, like HackMud and HackNet, which have a terminal-based style to them. There is a GUI that you can kind of click the commands that you want, but you basically break into various things. They are not free. They are low cost, though. They're below $10 each, and you get to play around with the terminal as well. There's also free games like Doki Doki Literature Club, if that's more your style.
Free, you say?
Free, absolutely free. Give it a try. It is amazing.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is very intense.
It is. So, funny story about this one. I didn't intend for it to go like that at the very beginning. I was just supposed to play like a little tiny picture, like the bees. But then this happened, and I can't fix it. I don't know why. I've tried deleting it, but it doesn't go away. It's stuck there forever. Yep. So just a cautionary tale. With anything free, you gotta take a couple steps. Do the research before you download anything or run any scripts. People on the internet can and will lie. Sorry. I mean, I'm looking in the general direction of blank wall, not at black site particularly. No.
You're the one who's on YouTube right now.
I am. So basically, some of the things that they tell you to do has the potential of doing something very bad to your computer, like deleting System32 to speed things up, or because you have the System32 virus. It's not a good idea. The product is free. You are the product. A lot of times they will sell your data, track your network, and your browsing patterns. And most times they will take that information and sell it to other people for other reasons. What they do with that data, I don't know. I picture that there's somebody with a Scrooge McDuck kind of style vault with all the data and they're just swimming around in it. Why? I don't know. It must be their thing. But things to kind of look out for are like free apps on your phones. A lot of the stores have little breakouts to say what each thing does. So make sure you read the permissions before you download them. Also, back to the piracy thing. This talk is not about piracy. You can get a lot of things for free pirating, but it's a short-term gain for long-term consequences. Sometimes the thing that you're downloading really isn't what it says it is, and you can get in quite a bit of trouble for it. So be very careful with that. You can also download things that have viruses built into them, and you don't know it. For an example, we had a recent issue with a government agent that downloaded Microsoft Word, and it was a cracked version of Microsoft Word, and it ended up giving secret files to people that shouldn't have had it, and he tried to blame other people for it, and it wasn't very pretty. So just because you can find it online doesn't mean that it actually is free, so do some research before doing that. For example, you can find a lot of books online for free. Are they really free though? Probably not. So, any questions?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah. Random question.
From the internet.
From the internet.
How often is KVM or QEMU used?
How often is
In a Linux
emu
environment,
or KVM
all
used?
the time.
Is it as easy to use as VMware or VirtualBox?
It
That's the
can
next question.
Oh no!
There's 2 question marks.
Oh,
See that?
shit.
Next question is it easy to use VMware VBox?
Is it easier to use VMware or VirtualBox?
Is easy to use as.
Oh, okay.
It can be.
So KVM is usually hard baked into Linux machines like Ubuntu. Ubuntu has it pre-installed, so give that a check.
If you're
Talk to the camera, not you. Okay, I was personifying the person asking the question as you. I apologize. So you can check out. Go ahead, CJ.
Virt Manager would be what you'd want to use to manage it. It's looks more or less like VMware.
Might want to come up here because the microphone's probably not picking you up.
Just
No? Virt Manager.
Yes.
Virt Manager instead of just straight KVM. Is that what you said?
Virt Manager is it manages KVM and KVM.
Okay, so Virt Manager manages KVM. KVM is just the
actual
hypervisor.
the hypervisor itself.
Okay. Is it easier to use? I don't know. I've only tried it a little bit. I'm not too good with Linux myself, so I think that was probably more of the issues that I had with it, rather than, yeah, it was cat-like typing with Linux versus actual. It was user error than the program itself. So, any other questions? Are you typing them back to the internet to see if they ask anything?
I'm asking for questions there too, yes.
Any questions from real people here instead of hoping for people on the internet? No?
Nope, we're good. That answered
We're good?
Green Jam's question.
Oh, it was Green Jam's question. I should have totally given the wrong information then. Darn. Alrighty. So,
How do we get the slides?
Oh yeah.
let me live edit that right in there.
Oh boy, we're seeing behind the scenes.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Going live.
Are you pushing a change to production?
I am pushing a change to production.
What happened?
Did you put a change ticket in for that?
I did not. What is it?
You having trouble remembering your handle?
Give you a hint. It's on the 2 lines above.
There's the Slack channel for MySec, since I'm actually
to
now.
to get an invite there.
Yeah.
Can't just go straight.
I'll send you the Heroku link.
Okay.
It's mysec.heroku.com or whatever it is.
Okay.
Heroku. Well, sweet.
No. Flashy lights, no. Back to the slideshow, maybe, if my computer stops having a seizure.
This is
There we go! Yay! Now the slides are there. Alright. It's more than likely not going to work right now because Kyle says it won't.
What?
So
What'd I say?
that's make like the cat.